Hey everyone, welcome to our 7 to 12 Art Attack activity today. Thanks so much for joining me. Unfortunately, today will be our last activity until the new year. With that being said though, we will be offering our 7 to 12 programming activities again next year. So I'm super excited to tell you guys that, and I hope that you guys all re-register again in the new year, and we'll be doing all new activities, crafts and science experiments. So I look forward to seeing you guys all in the New Year's. So that being said, let's get started with our activity today. We are going to be making, I have to be careful because it's still wet. We're going to be making Snowman Luminaries today. I figured with all the snow we've had throughout the night and then into today, that it was the perfect time to make a snowman activity. So let's go through the supplies you're going to need to make your very own. First, we'll start off with the jar. I'm using a mason jar with a lid. Guys, if you don't have a mason jar, feel free to use, say, a spaghetti jar or a jar that you may be going to recycle. You can just reuse and repurpose into a cutesy pootsy snowman. I do have a lid. Guys, if the jar doesn't have a lid, don't worry about it. You can do this activity without one. Next, we will talk about the glue. So you're going to need glue for this activity. I'm using a Mod Podge, but if you don't have Mod Podge at home, then you can totally just use white or clear school glue. Hot glue gun. I'm using a hot glue gun in this activity demonstration because hot glue, as you may know, dries much faster, but it is hot. So if you decide to use a hot glue gun, make sure that you have adult supervision to complete that portion of the activity. If you don't have a hot glue gun, then guess what? You're right. You can totally just use white or clear school glue. You just have to give it a little bit of time to set and dry each process of the activity. So I'll go through with that with you whenever we get to that part. Next is modeling clay. So guys, this was $1.25 at Dollarama, and it came as a multi-pack. There was an orange in there, but I've already made 2 noses out of it. I made pretty big noses. You guys can make smaller ones and probably get 4 or 5 noses if you want to make a family of snowmen. That's my goal to do with this activity. Paintbrush. I'm using a foam paintbrush. If you guys don't have a foam paintbrush, you can use a bristle brush. That's fine. After you're done using the paintbrush, make sure you wash it really well, because if there is excess glue on the paintbrush, it will ruin your brush. So just keep that in mind for after you're done. I'm using a tea light battery operated candle. It just flicks on like so on my carrot nose. And then I have a pie plate. You guys can use a flat plate if you like, or a bowl, anything that's large enough that you can really, all you're using it for is to catch the leftover snow. The snow that I'm referring to came in this bag. It was just under $3 at Walmart, and it's white snowflakes. So it gives your snowman a super nice look. It's kind of realistic, to be honest, and it will shimmer once you have the candle on it. But guys, it is messy, but the cleanup is definitely worth the mess, I promise. And I apologize in advance. And then pom-poms. So this is going to be used for your earmuffs, just on the side here. And then 3 pipe cleaners. That's how many I used, I used 4 pipe cleaners. You may need more, you may need less, but the going rate is 4. And then scissors. So with saying all of that, let's get started. First, you're going to take your mason jar or spaghetti jar. And last but not least, you're going to need eyes. So I'm using googly eyes. You guys can use buttons. You can make eyes out of your modeling clay. Be creative. Whatever you have on hand will work. So let's get started. So we're going to start off with our mason jar or your jar and the glue. And you're going to literally take your paintbrush. If you're using school glue and your paintbrush won't fit into the top, then just use a plate and pour some glue onto the plate. And then just literally wipe that glue all over your jar, except for the top. I always forget to mention this part. So here where the lid goes on, you're going to want to leave this without any glue on it, okay? So avoid that portion of your jar. Other than that, it's fair game. And I also left the bottom open because no one's seeing the bottom of your snowman, and it's going to sit on a shelf, and that'll be pretty wasteful and messy if you do the bottom, just because it'll rub off very quickly. But hey, it's your snowman, so if you want to do the bottom, you go for it. Okay, so you just literally keep going around and around. Having an even disbursement of glue is great, but really there's no wrong way of doing this. As you'll see, I have my hand put inside of the jar. Guys, don't force your hand inside of your jar. So if you just set it gently on top like so, it's a really great way on like how to get all the glue onto all the edges with less mess, but avoid from shoving your hand into the jar because the glass could break and you guys could get seriously hurt, okay? Just something to keep in mind. Okay, so once you have the glue on, you're gonna place your eyes and your nose onto the jar wherever you feel appropriate. So I'm just gonna turn mine because mine has some writing, and you're just gonna simply place on your nose and your eyes. So you guys can go ahead and just place it on the glue that you have, but I'm going to use a hot glue gun for a super fast drying time so that we can move on to the next part of this. Okay, so I'm just going to stick my nose on. Again, if you guys are just using like your Mod Podge or your white glue or your school glue, just give it a few minutes to dry before you stand it up straight because it'll slide off your snowman and you don't want to lose the nose. I mean, that's an easy fix, but just to keep in mind. And then your eyes. So again, I'm just going to place some glue. These eyes are super cute. They have like little eyelashes on them. Also found at Dollarama. So there you have your nose and your eyes. So now that that's on there, you guys can go wild with the snow. Not literally because it's very messy to clean, but have fun with it. So this is my favorite part. So you literally are just going to put as much snow where there is glue. So just cover all the areas that there's glue. Make sure you get the back. And then just wash the little eyes off because they're going to probably have a little bit on there. And there you have it. Your snowman is starting to take shape. Okay, now we're going to move to your snowbed's headband or its hat, whichever you prefer to call it. So I'm just going to set that guy over here. So the part we're going to work on next is just this part here. So just the headband portion, okay? So I already did a round with 2 of my pipe cleaners just to save us time in the video. But then taking your pipe cleaners, you literally just start in one area of your hat or your lid and you just go around like so and you just keep gluing, putting little spots of glue and just keep alternating the lid and go around and around and around till the entire lid's covered. If you're using a jar that doesn't have a lid, like I mentioned before, that's totally fine. You just simply go around the top of your jar. So you just use the top of your jar. Okay. That, and then if there's a little bit left over, you can just snip it off like that. And then that's just the, like your hat. If you're looking at someone wearing a hat, that's just what we're creating with that. And then just taking your snowman, you're just going to take the part that you just created, so your hat, and you're just going to simply twist it onto the top. Okay. That part almost let go there. There. So now we're going to make the ear muffs. So using your last piece of pipe cleaner, you're just going to want to make like the headband portion of an ear muff. So if you're wearing ear muffs, this is just the headband part, okay? So we're going to make it a little bit exaggerated, so it's going to stick up from the snowman's head. So just measure out what length you want it. So I want mine to stick out a bit, so like so. So I'm going to make it a little bit longer than what it probably would be if it was sitting on a normal head. And I'm just going to cut that piece off, and then I'm just going to use my hot glue gun And I'm just going to place 2 dabs of glue on either side of the head. So try to make it as even as possible, but if it's not spot on, don't worry about it. So again, this is where if you're just using regular glue, you're going to want to hold down your pieces a little bit longer just to let them set in there. Because if you let go right away, they'll come off the side of the heads, okay? Or let go of where you want them to be placed. Okay, now the earmuffs. So these little guys are just going to be like the earmuffs that keep your ears warm. Because of course we have to keep our snowman warm. So again, just place a little bit more glue on the side. As you can see, I didn't wait long enough, so my one side just popped off there. But I'll fix that in a minute. So just hold your pom-pom down again to secure it. And I'm just gonna put a little bit more glue. You never can have too much glue. Well, I'm sure you can, but. And then again, you're just holding your pom-poms to make cute little earmuffs for your snowman. And then last but definitely not least, you're going to add some light into your luminary, so into your lantern. So just taking your candle, you're just going to gently place it into your snowman, and then it'll almost, I'm sure you can't see it on camera, but with the snow on it, it almost makes it sparkle. So there you have it. That's our Art Attack craft or activity for today. I want to thank you all for taking part in our 7 to 12-year-old activity series. I'm wishing you guys a warm and safe holiday, and we will hopefully see you all in the new year. Take care. Bye.